3-0's a popular scoreline at Old Trafford right now, Graham. That's a week done. 2 wins in the Cup, semi-final, Carabao, got through Everton into the 4th round in the FA Cup. Things looking good, 8 wins in a row. Tonight's performance, not fantastic, but is it about getting the job done for you more than that?
Well, I was thinking about a book title and paragraphs, and it said, there is a squad. It starts with there is a squad. I think we were surprised that Kobbie Mainoo got a start, but there were players who were probably going to play on Saturday, but not many of them were in the starting lineup, and I think we'll touch on that later. And the other thing was, you play what's put in front of you. It wasn't pretty. I think there was areas of competence in it without the flowery stuff, and 1 or 2 looked a bit rusty, and just not quite at it. But they weren't. How would I put it? They weren't totally rubbish.
It looked to me, Graham, like they got the goal, and then it wasn't like they didn't want to go up a gear. It looked like they felt like they didn't need to, and just fell into this little lull of just acceptance of, we just keep the ball, we're going to see this game out. There was no killer instinct, or there was no aggression in our game. We just seemed to just go through the motions. I think
early on, and I'm quite interested to look at the first 25 minutes again, and there were periods where we were putting balls in behind them and getting in behind them, and the final ball just wasn't going to the right player. Had that happened, and they'd been clinical, I think that there was a case for being 4 up at half time. It didn't happen, and it's an old thing. I mean, from 2 years ago, I would say the momentum dissipated and they fell back into a false sense of security, and the game petered into this area where Charlton didn't really know whether to come out, and didn't until they bloody well had to, when they stuck the second striker on. Yeah. And United really didn't really force it until the main 3 substitutions again, which we will come back to hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, that was the difference there, but the most important thing from the night was the result, obviously, but the rest ahead of the big fixture pilot that we have got coming up, and more importantly, the derby at weekend, Graham. You mentioned players that you think are going to start, players that weren't starting tonight, but from the starting lineup, is there anyone that you can see in that team against City?
Well, I think Martinez looked really rusty. It looked like he'd been partying for 2 weeks, if I'm honest. Just little bits of inaccuracies that you wouldn't have seen before. I think he's a definite starter. I think
back in with Varane.
Yeah, I would.
Not Harry Maguire, Graham. No.
Well, it's funny because as a pair, they were quite organised. They weren't embarrassed as a pair. They were only embarrassed when it didn't come up. I mean, Harry, when he tried to win a ball and initiated a counter attack for Charlton, I'm like, oh, it was 2 hands on your head moment again. And when he body checked the Charlton midfielder, that was like Norman Hunter swatting people in the 70s. It just made me chuckle.
That was it.
But you don't want him on the pitch for the derby, sadly, and that's the fact.
No, mate. I mean, it showed there tonight that there are players there that just haven't got it for me. I don't want to be disrespectful for any one particular player, but when you're struggling in games like that, you've got to own up and accept that you're just not good enough. Not quite got it, mate.
No.
Is what I'll say.
Going back to the substitutions, they were all on it. They were all on at 60 minutes like clockwork. It was premeditated, and it showed that I would think Anthony would start over Garnacho. I think the fact that he's very dangerous cutting in on his left foot, and there's more of a goal threat from him. whatever people think about whether he should go past people and trust his right. And the fact that Rashford wants to play on the left if Martial's playing through the middle, I just can't see Garnacho breaking that down. In fact, on 2 occasions when Garnacho was offside, when he could see across the line, Ten Hag was bollocking him. He wasn't happy with him.
I mean, that's it, Graham. You want the Samba feeling back for that derby. You want Martinez at the back. You want Casemiro back in the middle, and you want Antony on the wing. But that's another day. Finishes off tonight with a man of the match for this one.
Well, Casemiro's 2 balls, the second and third goal nearly steal it. But I really want to give it to Tyrell Malacia, because I think what he lacks in finesse, there's a work rate and a desire in him that that was infectious from the Brentford game, and I feel like there's a soul when he's on the pitch, and I'd like to give it to him tonight.
Shout, Graham. Cheers. Just as the rain starts, mate, we'll get ourselves in. Cheers for coming on, pal.
You're welcome, Adam.